Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Impact Play, impacting more than just gaming. We are your weekly source for the latest news, updates, discussions, and at times have debates that revolve in and around the video games industry. You can be part of the live show experience over at twitch.tv / the Impact Play and by clicking on the notification bell so you will be notified when we do go live or later on YouTube or even on your favorite podcast platform. Simply search for the Impact Play. I'm your host Muhammad, otherwise known as It's Yagu. This is episode 89. February is Black History Month, and we are empowering, uplifting black voices and giving black artists, creators, entertainers, and even those in the gaming space a chance to shine in the limelight, and even to share their stories here on Impact Play. On this latest episode of Impact Play, I'm joined by Mikel Casanova from the Casanova podcast as we discuss Sony's State of Play. Anthem is now officially cancelled. The PlayStation 5 is finally getting a storage upgrade. Is Microsoft planning a Bethesda event? And the latest Pokémon Direct, plus the top news stories in the gaming space. So, before we get into it, let us know who you are, what it is you do, and how long you've been in the space.
All right. So I'm Mikel Casanova. I'm a Hawaii content creator. I've been basically just I've been a podcaster for about going on 6 years now, so 5.5, almost 6 years. I've been hosting the Casanova podcast, number one in Hawaii, where I interview people in the video game industry, tech industry, content creators, celebrities, and more. And basically, it started off with me just doing that because I was, no one else in Hawaii is doing it, and I'm like, I'm really into games and and tech and more. So it's like, yeah, why not? I'll start off doing that, and then about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that became my full-time career. I do video game reviews, tech reviews. I work with the gaming and tech industries as well. And other than that, I do YouTube. I stream, and yeah, that's just about that.
Awesome. You've been in the space a lot more than I have. I'm going over a year now in the space.
How do you like it so far?
So far, so good. Like honestly, like I could have started it a couple months earlier, but I don't know what it was. It wasn't just I needed like the best tech or the best equipment. It was just that I have no idea what was just putting a hold on me. I have no idea. So I just started with like positivity. And then after that, after listening to a gamer tag radio is what got me into the gaming space. I'm like, wait a minute, I could actually make an impact into something that I enjoy.
Oh yeah, Danny Ping, his show. Yeah.
They're really good. Danny in Paris.
Yeah.
And even Pete. All right. So I guess we'll start with the big one. Sony State of Play. What are your thoughts?
They actually surprised me with the State of Play. I was expecting it to be more of their first party like AAA titles, but they had a lot of brand new IPs and a lot of returning IPs that with the was it Abe Soul something. I forget what it's called.
Is that give me a second.
Oh, Oddworld, Soul something. I was like, I forgot that they had announced that before. I was like, oh, okay, they're bringing it back. That looks fun. I like the Oddworld series. But yeah, there's a lot of indie and some new announcements, some stuff that they announced at the one of their previous events last year, and I thought it was all from start to finish, it was a really good show. I especially how they ended it. The way they ended it, I was like, whoa, okay, you got my attention.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything that actually caught your eye that you're interested to play?
So, I think that game was called Kenna. Like that caught my eye because it made me think of like Mark of Cree mixed with like Breath of the Wild in a way, and I was like, okay, I would like to try that. That's a newer IP, so I'm not really sure what to expect, but from the way they did that, the trailer came out, it's like, okay, it got my attention. And then Deathloop, I was like,
yeah, for sure.
I forgot about that. I was like, yo, this looks like all the stuff from what is it? Dishonored, and then one, and then it's like, oh wait, that's made by the same team. Okay, no wonder it's so similar.
Like seafood definitely caught my eye. Like when you die, like everything changes. I'm like, wow,
Hmm.
that's actually a nice take on it.
Yep.
Like, wow, I did not expect something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely refreshing to see them. Like it feels like a game where they're being just completely creative, and I feel like in the gaming space, within the last generation, I feel like a lot of companies just played it safe instead of experimenting as much as can be.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
for sure. Creative freedom definitely, it's definitely a thing to behold in.
yeah, yep.
Are you a huge Final Fantasy person or no?
Final Fantasy 7, yes, yes. I actually have a background story with Final Fantasy 7.
Oh, nice.
So like I
Let's
love the
hear it.
remake, but the original Final Fantasy 7 was the first RPG I ever played back when I was a kid. I was always into just the action and running gun slasher, and then because I'm from American Samoa, like I'm mixed, I'm Samoan, Black, Hawaiian,
Okay.
but I'm from Western Samoa, and I we moved to the United States when I was 7, and when we moved here I didn't really speak much English, or really, I struggled with reading because I was dyslexic at the time. So my
Yeah.
mother got me Final Fantasy 7. She got me Xenogears and Mega Man X7 for the PlayStation 1. Oh, no, not Mega Man X4, actually. So I was just tearing through Mega Man X4, and then when I finally got around to playing Final Fantasy 7, it was the game to help me not only get better at English and,
Oh,
and
for
want to
sure.
learn it, but it was also the game that really instilled like and fostered my love of Final Fantasy, the fantasy genre, and go on to just like find a whole new world. Like I was getting into all kinds of different books at the time, Tales of the Atori by Leanne Hearn, and so much more, Lord of the Rings, um, and so I've played every single Final Fantasy. Like I'm currently addicted to Final Fantasy
Wow.
14 online. And then when the remake got announced back in 2015, I was super hyped. I remember I was at my job. I was working at Microsoft at the time, and I got super hyped when I saw that announcement. And then we heard nothing for a while, and then when it came back and they finally dropped it, I was like, okay, I need to play this. And dropped the demo. I was like, this is freaking awesome. It's like what Crisis Core should have been back in
Oh yeah.
2008 or 2007. And so Final Fantasy 7 remake, I just loved it. I love the graphics, I love the gameplay. I love the story, and to see what, integrate the update running at 60 frames per second in native 4K. I'm like, oh my
Oh,
god,
yep.
I need it. I need it right now. I already own the digital deluxe edition for 7 remake. I just rebought for integrate for PS5.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to chapter two. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Nice. What are you thinking about the storage upgrade that's finally coming to the
About time.
PS5?
Oh my
It
goodness.
is.
Okay. So like I love my PS5, but the constant having to delete games
It's a hassle.
over and over, it's a hassle. Like whenever I get like a multi-platform game that either I want to play or I want to review, I try to just get it on the Xbox Series X, because at least I know I can put in a overly priced 1 terabyte
Yeah.
drive, and put it on that platform. But on the PlayStation, like I literally have let's see, what do I have? Spider-Man Miles Morales, Spider-Man remastered, Dark was it Demon Souls,
Yeah.
Devil May Cry 5 special edition, and Hitman, and that's already filled up
Yeah,
my
for
entire
sure.
like it's ridiculous.
It is. Like, honestly, they should have done this from day one, from the get go.
Yeah. Because you only get what, 600?
Yeah, about over 600 gigs.
Yeah, it's not enough.
Yeah,
don't
667 to be exact.
don't
But yeah, it's not
don't
enough,
have
especially with Warzone and what was the other
right?
one? Cold War.
Yeah.
A base PS4 can't even hold that anymore.
No. I actually I had Black Ops Cold War and Warzone on PlayStation 5, and I was like, yeah, I can't keep this on
Yeah,
here.
sure. Like, honestly, especially with the save files not fully transferring over to the PS5 titles, like, it's like, why?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know what they were deciding to do with that one, because it's, I mean, then you had all the issues with, some people's PS5s bricking and
yeah,
then the power cycling. I had a lot of power cycling issues. It just, turned itself off. You couldn't put it in rest mode. Like it was,
yeah, it was a
it's,
mess at launch. I know that for
yeah.
sure, and I know a lot of people personally that got it on day one that have been having those issues.
Yeah.
And I know someone that's been having the Joy-Con drift too. It literally just started.
Yep. Are they, what are they doing to address that? Have they acknowledged that publicly? Like, I know
Not
Microsoft
publicly,
acknowledged
because he's
theirs.
literally they've been like this gaming community. They're running around with Twitter and then their customer service, and he's just winning on hold just for them to get back to him.
Yeah, that's Sony for you.
Yeah, it's funny for sure. Like, wow, like Xbox gets a win on this one.
Yeah, they were on it as
Yeah,
far, because I've experienced it with my Series X too, like with the whole controller disconnecting and whatnot.
yeah,
I
I've
thought it
experienced it too. Exactly. Yeah,
I
I've
thought it was because I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I'm thinking it's the game, and it's like,
yeah,
no,
me
it's the
that
controller.
was my first thought too. And I reached out to Ubisoft. I was playing Valhalla. I'm like,
Yeah.
is there anything going on? Oh, there's an issue that we're aware of with the Xbox. I'm like, okay. I'm like, wow.
I feel like these consoles probably need another year
Yeah,
before they dropped them.
for sure. Like, honestly, they could have been good with the delay this year.
Yeah. Yeah. The amount of issues, yeah, they could have dropped that, end of this year. No, I don't think anyone would have been mad. I mean,
Yeah, like people with Cyberpunk, they were getting mad, but okay, what happened with Cyberpunk now? There you
yeah.
go.
Yeah. God, that game. Oh my god.
Like, wow. And then the PSN was down, my Xbox Live was down. Like, it's crazy.
Were they hacked, or is it just like an infrastructure issue with them coming
No,
down?
no, yeah, that's all it was. Like, it was just an outage. That's all they said.
See?
Like, wow. Like, honestly.
It's yeah. I mean, and then when you look at like the games that have come out this generation, like with the newer consoles, I'm over here like, okay, as far as exclusives, uh, technically the only new title that has come out, or titles
Yeah.
plural, is what All-Star Destruction, that game, which they gave away for free, even though they
Yeah.
advertised that initially you're gonna have to buy it. And then was Demon Souls
Yeah,
remake,
that's it.
because I'm
And
over.
then what's the other game that's coming out this year? It was delayed to Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, yeah, because wasn't that supposed to be like a launch title? Well, not a
Yeah.
launch title.
No, they
It
said
was.
launch window, and then it got delayed even further to June. Like,
Yeah.
like wow.
Oh, dude, what was the other one? Control Ultimate
Yeah.
Edition.
Oh yeah. Oh.
It is. It's they had people pay for it on PlayStation
Yeah.
4 to get the update for
And
5,
then
and then
they said it was a whole mess.
they're
Like,
like, "No, it's free. Here you go."
like, okay, can I get a refund? No, sorry, you paid for it.
Oh my goodness.
Like, wow. And even it's a mess with Final 7 Remake being free now on PS Plus.
Okay, so I'm wondering how many people immediately after that trailer, one, bought the game digitally, and then the next day Sony's like, yeah, we're giving it to you for free on PSN. And it's like the only thing you need to do is pay for the Yuffie DLC.
That's it.
I can't.
Like, I don't
Sometimes,
understand their whole model.
oh my goodness, like I don't understand. Sometimes, like the gaming industry, they do some really backward stuff. It's like that whole was it the Final Fantasy, the mobile game, The First Soldier, and everyone's like, yeah, we're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
talk about Sephiroth, and it's like, no, we're doing battle royale. It's Fortnite with Final Fantasy characters, and I'm like, yeah, I when as soon as I saw battle royale, I'm like,
Like,
I
yeah,
have
never
no
mind.
interest. I'm like, no, I have. There's enough battle royales I'm playing. I do not need to play this. I mean, I'm between Apex Legends, Warzone, Fortnite, like PUBG. Why am I gonna? Why?
Happened to another one. Have you played Hyperscape?
Yeah, I know, right?
I have that into day one and when I was in beta, and I haven't been
Mhm.
back on it.
See, it's too oversaturated of
It
a
is.
market. Like,
I would say the big players are the top three: Apex, Fortnite, and PUBG. That's it. And Warzone, Warzone has like a place in the top three too. But that's it.
mhm.
Like
Like
other than that,
anything else is gonna get buried.
yeah, exactly.
So
Wow.
I don't know what they're doing. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna release this, and I mean, maybe in Japan or Korea it'll do well, but
Yeah.
there was nothing in that. I'm like, no, why? No, no.
Wow. All right. I guess we'll move on to this next one. What do you think about Anthem officially getting canceled?
Uh,
And they literally just talked about it not too long ago, saying that they're that they're
as much
invested
as
in the game.
yeah, like as much as they're saying like yeah, 2.0,
Yeah,
we're gonna redo the whole thing. It's gonna be we're gonna be making sure we're gonna take care of the fans and we're gonna do better this time. Yeah, okay, we're done with that. Nope, nope, no need. Nope, we don't care about that. We're done. And it's like I'm
it's like Google City too. Like literally a week before they were closing the first party studios, they said, "Oh, you guys are doing a great job," and then
mhm,
like nothing that made it show that like they did something bad or what have you. They just shut down the studio completely.
mhm. Yeah, it's. I mean, as far as EA, God, man, my
Yeah,
thoughts on EA is just like eh, if it's not Battlefield and
yeah, they definitely have like I think that's the whole business model. Like it's up and down with them. With EA.
oh, yeah, they just they don't. I feel like they don't care about gaming.
Yeah,
Like they don't. If it's not something they can just hash out every single year or every other year, they don't care about it. Like even with Mass Effect, they're like, okay, so we're pushing out, the whole definitive edition or
yeah,
the
Legendary Edition or whatever it is.
legendary
Yeah,
edition. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, cool. So where are you going with this? This is a quick cash grab to recoup losses from Andromeda. Are you going to release a sequel? Like I don't know. Like
yeah.
EA and the thing with
Like they're unpredictable.
Anthem had some potential if they
Yeah,
just
it did.
left it if they just gave it another couple months to a year, it probably could have came out better. It was just bare bones.
Yeah, they just put whatever they had with it and they didn't do anything else with it. Like
Yeah.
here you go.
Yeah. I think I got it. I think one of my friends gifted it to me on PC, and I played it with him. I was like, man, it's okay. Pretty good mechanics.
Hmm.
It rough around some edges, but I mean, if you ever wanted to play a game that made you feel like Iron Man, that was the game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, like I honestly don't know what they're doing. Like they do come
Yeah,
out with games, but when they invest in them, it's a completely different story.
yeah, yeah. They make little to no effort. They're like, yeah, you know what? Anytime you hear EA is buying a studio, It's like, how long is this gonna last?
Yeah. Like wow.
Yeah.
All right. And what are your thoughts on these PlayStation titles coming to PC? There's a whole slate of them.
So I got a couple thoughts on that. And
Please tell.
my main thought for that is Sony, per usual, they're seeing what Microsoft is doing
Exactly.
with it's a brilliant business model. Put some of your older titles on PC because there are some folks that are not going to get a console. But if they experience one of your exclusives on PC and they really get invested in it, and then you're like, oh, here's a sequel, but you got to get the PlayStation 5 to get it. And you're like, man, that Horizon Zero Dawn, that, that Days Gone, that was really good. I need to get, and it's a good marketing ploy.
Yeah, of course.
But you've got a lot of people that are upset about it, and I don't understand it
why?
Because
It's an older title that's been out there for years, and for those who are on PC, if they didn't invest in PlayStation, they're not going to. This might trigger them.
Yeah. Brilliant. It's a brilliant marketing tactic, and I played I played Horizon Zero Dawn on PC, and I played on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. It's a completely different experience. I hope the sequel plays like the PC version of the first one.
Oh, for sure.
It's an experience, and I'm certain Days Gone and the other titles coming to PC are going to do really well too. There's nothing wrong with it. It gives people more opportunity, more ways to play. And it's weird because there's these camps of people. They're the camp that's like, the console
war
fanboys,
thing.
I tell people, man, you haven't experienced the console war until the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and then PlayStation. The original PlayStation versus Saturn versus the 64. That was the last console war. Everything after that was, what controller do you want?
Exactly.
So yeah, it's more ways to play, and then you got the people.
If you're enjoying a game on a specific platform, how does that interfere with your experience if someone else plays it on a different platform?
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't interfere your experience at all.
So.
All right. And have you ever been invested in the PSVR?
Yes.
The PSVR 2 coming soon, hopefully.
The PlayStation VR. So mine's just collecting dust over in the corner. So the last time the reason I got the original PlayStation VR was for Resident Evil 7. And it wasn't of my own volition to get it. My community was like, we want you to play 7 in VR. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And then they donated. They're like, here you go, go buy it now. And I'm like, no. And then they ended up buying it and it shipped to my PO box. And I was like, okay, I'll play it. And then I absolutely love 7 in VR. Like, it's the only way I can ever go back and play that. And then I played the the Astrobot one? Yeah. So that one, I love that. And it's like a couple other titles I played in VR, which were cool. But then after that, it's like I don't have a reason to go back and play it. And so when Capcom announced Resident Evil 8, and I played that demo, I'm like, okay, I want to play this in VR, because as cool as it is, and first, with controls the way it normally is, playing Resident Evil in VR is just such an experience that I hope it has VR support. So, with the announcement of the new, whatever it is, the PlayStation VR 2, if they ever name it that, I'm looking forward to it, especially if it's going to utilize a single cord, because setting up the PSVR was a pain.
It was a hassle, especially until they came out with an adapter later on, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, wow. Like you can't even use a controller from the PS4 to PS5, even though you've bought the controllers. Like you have to start brand new essentially.
Yeah, and then didn't they market like before that you could use the PS4 controllers, and
Yeah,
then the reality is you can't.
yeah. And even some of the titles that are PlayStation 4, you're playing on PlayStation 5. You can't even play it with the PlayStation control as well.
Yep.
They're not even
Which
guaranteed to work.
which made my Astro C90 useless. Is now just a glorified like paperweight.
Yeah, like they're really something. Yeah, you have to take a deep breath with Sony.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the other thing too, as far as like it, VR going forward, I'm actually shocked that they're investing in VR, like they're going to continue with it,
Yeah,
because my experience with Sony, or my thoughts on Sony, is that they typically will do one experimental console or add-on and then they drop it.
and
They
what's
did
the
it
best example?
ex- the Vita. That
The
that
Vita.
the Vita, to me, I have no idea why Sony cut support for that,
Yeah,
because that could have
it was a great
easily,
thing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's still it in the fandom is keeping it alive, and Sony's like, we just don't care. I
Yeah,
do not understand that.
and then with the original PlayStation Portable too,
Yeah,
like it
that
was
was
such a phenomenal. Like
yeah,
wow,
and Sony's like, yeah, we don't care. Like, why?
exactly. Could have
You,
easily
you know,
came out with like a much like a 2020 version of it with all these higher specs and everything. But
yeah. You know what they could have done? Like they could have done that, or they could have also done where they released they re-released the PlayStation Vita with an ability to do a TV out
oh
directly
yeah,
from it
yeah,
without having to jailbreak it. Like if they did that, people would immediately buy it,
yeah,
and throw in PSP support, where you can just pop in your UMDs.
yeah,
I have no idea. Like, there's so many ways Sony could just easily rake in money. They're like, nope, we don't want to do that.
yeah. And then they came out with a PSP phone too later on after the Vita.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did.
it
Yeah,
was
it's
like
just Sony. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna invest in this. I for the sake of Resident Evil 8, probably, if it has VR support, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna be like, is this gonna be another one that's just gonna sit in the corner? Probably.
yeah, for sure. You play it when a new thing comes out, and then just put it away again.
I mean, VR as a whole has not taken off. Like, I
Yeah, it
remember when people were
hasn't.
saying, was it 2005, 2015, 2016, people were like, oh yeah, this is the next wave of gaming. No, it's
It's
not.
not
It's
yet.
never taken off.
No. Still now they're like integrating with like mixed with AR and VR
Mm-hmm.
with this mixed reality and these like glasses like VR headsets. Okay, they're still experimenting, even though like it still didn't take off for the consumer to actually
Yeah.
invest in it.
Yeah. And it's the price of entry is expensive. Like, you're gonna spend $200-300 on that at the low end,
Yeah,
and
and
then you
Apple on the
got
high end.
right. Oh, Apple, when they drop theirs, is gonna be like what? Yeah,
Couple grand.
the base price $2,000. Like,
Yeah,
what? Because it's Apple.
the highest is like maybe $500 to $600.
It's gonna be like that Apple was it
The headset.
yeah, and then they did the desktop, and it's like,
Oh,
was it like
yeah, they came up with their own gaming PC too, apparently.
yeah. Yeah, Apple is so. I love Apple products for the simplicity,
Yeah,
but sometimes it's like,
yeah.
ugh.
Like, why are you doing this? Like, wow. I guess I'll move on to this next one coming over from Games Radar, the Bethesda
Okay.
showcase coming
Okay.
next March. Or yeah, what are your thoughts on it? If I feel like they might come up with their own thing, and Microsoft is gonna be like, okay, this is coming. Like I don't like, like because it's like even though they haven't fully acquired them yet,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, will they do it on their end, or will they Bethesda do their own thing?
Uh, that's what I'm kind of like. I'm interested to see how that's going to turn out because I really don't know like what the where this is going to go. Because like, are we going to see? Do they have any titles new announced that they're going to be showing? I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Is this where they're going to be like, yeah, Xbox only for everything? But then I think didn't they retract on that saying they're still going to make titles for
Yeah,
the
they said
PlayStation?
like a case by case basis, and then also this the Lucasfilms what is it it's Indiana Jones.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
mean,
I'm like iffy about it because apparently it's a Lucasfilm thing. So it looks like they probably made that deal before Microsoft got into the picture.
yeah.
So it's like, will it not?
I mean, I am excited to see what they're gonna do with it, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, okay, maybe show me
Like
Elder
it's
Scrolls 6.
Xbox only.
Right?
Even though that's why you shell out $7.5 billion.
Yeah.
Like if it
Yeah.
was that case, we would have done a partnership like they did with the EA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I
Oh,
mean, if honestly, if they were to make the Bethesda titles like exclusive, that really would give Microsoft a leg up in
oh,
many
for
ways.
sure.
But I just really feel like Microsoft doesn't care about exclusivity. Okay, so the way I look at it with Microsoft
Okay.
is them buying up these studios. I feel like they're still going to release these titles multi-plat or on, Xbox and PC because I look at their model, their business model, and it's ever since Satya Nadella came into Microsoft and took over,
Hmm.
it's get our services or end products on all platforms. Like look at what they're doing with Microsoft Office.
Oh,
You can buy it on everything. So I feel like they're taking that services approach to literally the Xbox brand. Like, I mean, especially they did last year. I mean, they're really aside from multiplats, the few exclusives, you really didn't have much incentive to really buy an Xbox, especially with Game Pass.
yeah.
A lot of
Every,
people look at Game Pass as a negative. I don't
it's
because I'm like,
not.
it's great. Like I'm like, you get a new console. What if you don't buy an Xbox and you just got a PC? You still have
Yeah.
these Xbox titles you can play.
Exactly. Day on day.
Yeah, like it's a great thing. And their business model has forced Sony to do the same thing with the PlayStation Classic Collection or
Yeah.
whatever.
The PS Plus collection.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like
And
they're
then
they're
when I
on the
heard about it,
target.
okay, are they gonna be charging for it? What? Because they weren't clear on their messaging. I had so many
Yeah,
questions.
yeah. So I was like, huh, you know what? I have no issues with that.
For sure. You don't even need an Xbox to play these games on PC. You can even play it on your phone.
hmm Yeah, I mean they've really made it to where it's like we really don't. If you want to buy our console, cool. If you want the best, most powerful console exclusive, not exclusive experience,
Yeah.
buy our console. If you want to play it on PC, play it on PC. If you want to play it on your phone, play it on your phone. So I'm like, all right, that's a lot of different ways to play. I like that
Exactly.
business model. You know,
Yeah.
so I can't fault them for it. But as far as like Bethesda, I think they're just gonna keep putting their Bethesda titles on other platforms. Like, why cut different ways to make money? I
That,
don't see
yeah,
them
that's
doing it.
true. But my view on this is why shell out a whole bunch of money instead of doing like a partnership if you're still gonna if you're still gonna do that.
True. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So we'll see what pans out.
Yeah.
Hopefully with this March event.
What are you
Uh,
thinking they're gonna show?
I feel like Starfield's like the big one, and then you have Elder Scrolls 6, and then I feel like they may do like a little teaser
Mm-hmm.
for those titles, and I guess I would say exclusively to Game Pass. What about
Yeah,
you?
I can see that. I definitely see the main thing that they want to focus on being Elder Scrolls 6, because at this point, how long can you continue running, what was it, Skyrim?
Oh yeah,
At this point, it's been well over a decade. I mean, it's a great game. I'm not knocking it,
oh, yeah, for
but
sure.
it's time for something new. It's time for them to do something new with that. And I also think they're gonna tease a new Fallout, like maybe Fallout 5. I'm
Yeah,
hoping, fingers crossed. So maybe they'll do like, you know, a sequel, a New Vegas sequel. Fingers crossed. And they're probably not going to do that, but I would love to see that. What else do they have? Maybe a new Prey would be
oh
nice.
yeah,
Um, I don't know if they're gonna do another Dishonored, but that would
oh
be cool. I
yeah,
mean, there's so many IPs they have under their belt. I don't see
oh
them doing anything new with like Doom. I think Doom, they're gonna keep pushing Doom Eternal for a while. Maybe new content for Doom Eternal.
yeah, like a
Um,
DLC.
yeah. Um, other than that, or maybe Doom cross Halo. Have there be some, like
Yeah,
have Master Chief show up in Doom, and
they
it'd
they
be like,
brought him in Fortnite, so it wouldn't be too
yeah.
far fetched. Bring him in
So
Doom. And they've
I feel
done
like,
like crossover content with Gears too, with the Hive Busters DLC.
yeah, yep.
For sure.
So
And have you seen these Infinite screenshots that just came out recently?
no.
Let me send them over to you.
Let's see. Okay. So fingers crossed, this looks better than what they showed a
Oh, for
couple months
sure.
ago.
Like they got so much feedback from it, but it honestly looks
Oh,
good.
that looks substantially
Yeah,
better.
a lot better.
Wow.
Yep, especially with ray tracing and everything, it's gonna look even better.
Goodness. Okay. Okay. Wow, the detail in the grass too. You can see the lighting, the effects of the ray
Oh
tracing.
yeah, I'm sure
Okay,
they have a lot more work to go.
they got my attention.
Good thing they took a year. Good thing they took an extra year. People were complaining, oh, there's no, because they're going to be any exclusives and all this stuff. Just look at Cyberpunk. Just look at Cyberpunk. Look what happened.
Yeah. I think Cyberpunk has really shown a lot of companies like,
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
not.
exactly. It's not rush it out if it's not ready. If it's not fully baked and ready, why should we push it out and just hope that the Day Zero patch will fix the majority of the stuff?
Yeah.
They put 2 patches out and still.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is looking substantially better. Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
wait.
I can't wait for this.
I'm excited. Like, take your sweet time with it. I'm
there's
not
there's
worried at
absolutely
all.
no rush. Take your time.
Like, wow, it's phenomenal. I guess, since we're talking about Halo, what's your thoughts on this Halo TV series going to Paramount Plus?
Mm, so long as they get they okay. I hope they do really well with it because you remember that the tie-in live action stuff that they did with 5 where they had the
Oh,
Michael Coulter
oh yeah,
in
yeah,
it. I really enjoyed those. If they can bring it to that level of quality, I would be all for it. Like I
yeah.
would have absolutely no issues whatsoever with it. I hope they do well with it. I really do because
Sure.
I think there's so much in the Halo universe that they can explore. I mean, we're on what the second arc anyway, as
Yeah,
far as like the story goes, and I feel like there's so much more to explore. And yeah, I mean, I'm for it. I'm for the live action TV show. I just hope they do well with it.
yeah.
You know, I don't.
Honestly, hope. Like, have you seen that Monster Hunter movie that that didn't do too well?
What? I have a lot of thoughts on that. Okay, first off, Capcom, stop allowing Paul W.S. Anderson to touch your IPs. Like, if you're gonna give it, if you just want explosions, give it to Michael Bay. That's his thing.
Yeah,
You know, like Mila Jovovich is it just no.
it was a whole flop essentially.
I don't. I feel like he just does movies to put his wife in it. You know, like that's it. You know, he's like, hey, honey, I'm gonna get Monster Hunter. You're gonna be the focal star of it. Just like, okay, no, no.
Like, wow. What about the Last of Us cast? What are your thoughts on that?
So the person that they got to play Joel, I'm like, yeah, you know, he looked the part. I remember when I was looking at Mandalorian, I was like, yeah, he looks like Joel. The
Yeah,
person playing Ellie, to me, does not look like Ellie. But I'm assuming that, you know, they just want to do like a creative take on her. I don't know, like that actress. I'm not really familiar with that actress. I just don't feel like she visually looks like Ellie as much as like the guy playing Joel does. Looks like Joel.
oh yeah, Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Hopefully, it turns out good.
I mean, if it's going to
Yeah,
HBO, I strongly think like they're gonna put out something spectacular.
for
But
sure.
like, is this? I think where I'm kind of confused with it is this a retelling or a prequel
Yeah,
or
that's the
like
thing.
like a in between 1 and
Yeah,
2?
like it's honestly like we don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Like they it's just unclear.
Is we have like so many questions, even though they only done but announced their cast. That's it. Like, wow. All right. I guess we'll move on to this Epic versus Apple and
Oh goodness.
updates. Now Valve's been pulled into this mess.
Okay, so what kicked? I know Epic wants to open their own like app store front on iOS devices, but like, what kicked this off? Like, is it because of the microtransactions
No,
in
I
that
wouldn't say
game?
it's the microtransactions because everything's like locked off on Apple then compared to Android. Like no
Yeah.
one can have their own payment method on Apple. No one can have their own app store on Apple compared to like Android devices.
Uh,
Like
yeah.
that's the way I see it. Like honestly, when I first heard about the story, it was about microtransactions. But then as
Mm-hmm.
soon as I heard about it more, okay, then it looks like it might be this. This Apple doesn't like anyone else butting in because they're paying 30% on Xbox, PlayStation, probably even Valve too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's. I think Epic's like the only company that can take them on something like this because it's going on
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, that's wild.
Yes.
I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at some of the updates, and I'm like,
Yeah. They have
Apple
to.
just really has this like tyrant mentality when it comes to anything on their platform. Well, and I
I
understand it to an
agree.
extent, but you know, Apple is not the number one, hardware not maker. Like they don't have. I mean, PC and Android have come such a long way
Yeah.
in many ways that they're better in many aspects. So it's like Apple, you're gonna have to evolve with the times.
Yeah. Exactly. They have to update their. They have to make the business model current. Like, why hold off onto something that was maybe worked 5, 10 years ago?
Yeah, it doesn't work now.
It
It
doesn't.
doesn't at all work now. That's just
Wow. And
yeah.
then speaking,
That's a wild situation. Like I
it is. And now Google Stadia is getting a class action lawsuit too for the 4K claims with Stadia.
man, I have so many issues with Stadia. Like when I tried, I wanted to order that when it first came out, just because like I'm a tech head. I like
Yeah,
playing
of
with new
course. Yeah.
tech. But then like when I selected, they're like, "Oh, where you located to ship it to?" And then when I picked Hawaii, they're like, "We don't send to your country." And I'm like, "My country?"
It's not a country.
I'm like, "You mean you don't?" And I remember going into like I went to talk to their customer service, and I was like, "So I'm trying to order your Stadia," and they said that, when I try to order it, that it doesn't ship to my country of Hawaii. I'm like, Hawaii's not a country. It's just it's part of the US. And they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't ship to your country. I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean you don't ship to my country? I'm like, it's just across the water. If it's continental US only, update that on your POS
Exactly.
and whatnot. So yeah, I've never got to experience Stadia. I thought the idea was
Yeah,
cool,
the tech is
but
great.
it's like it feels like the infrastructure is not there, and then you're going up against like what is it, Nvidia
xCloud and
now,
then Nvidia's
GeForce
GeForce.
Now,
Yeah.
Xbox, was it the X Cloud that they
xCloud.
had?
Yeah.
So it's like I'm like, how is this going to work? And then a year in, like I mean, out the gate, it was never working properly.
Yeah, definitely. And then when I found out later on they're using Linux OS, what's that Linux OS, right? That they're using?
Yeah, Linux OS.
And then
It,
when Luna came out, they're actually using Windows.
yeah, I've heard good things about the Lunar.
Yeah.
I want to play it, but like I've not heard anything back from them
Yeah,
about
same. I'm
that.
still waiting on my response too. And apparently you could use like a different controller with the Luna platform
Hmm.
with Bluetooth. So I guess we'll see. Hopefully it works a lot better than Stadia.
Yeah,
Like
it's kind of
wow.
crazy that came out the gate working better than Stadia.
Yeah, I knew from the get-go, as soon as they announced Stadia, that they announced so many projects that they just canceled on and just abandoned.
Yeah,
So it's not surprising, especially with their Google. What was it? The Google Glass. That
Oh,
was a great concept.
remember that the Google Glass? They're like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and this, and then they showed it off. And was it MKBHD was
Yeah,
like, yeah, you can do this with it, you can do that with it, and then the next thing you know, nothing.
yeah. And then we were complaining, oh, privacy and all this stuff.
Yeah, it's
Like, wow,
wild.
it was such a great idea, and they were the only ones that came out with it too.
Yeah.
Like, wow. So I feel like Google, Amazon, and Microsoft, for once invested in one the part of the market, the other two have to invest in it too.
Mm-hmm. And it's like they all have money to make it work really well.
Yeah,
It's just interesting
yeah,
that,
they have to invest the time too.
yeah. This is interesting that only Microsoft and Amazon are doing it right. You would think Google, of all companies, would be just destroying Microsoft
Yeah,
and Amazon, but like, no, we're not.
yeah. Like, wow, I feel like their tech will live on in someone else.
Yeah. I guarantee. I feel like in a
Yeah,
year they're gonna sell it off.
for sure, or
Or
license
or
it off or something. Because like
yeah.
Microsoft did with what did they cancel off?
The
Mixer,
Windows, yeah, Mixer.
and then it was something else too. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, they got
Uh,
rid of Mixer. Then I
that
believe,
the HoloLens, and then
yeah,
that table that they had too.
yeah, they had the table. Then they had the projector screen thing. What
Yeah,
was it? The
I forgot the name of it.
Surface something,
Yeah, yeah,
which is
yeah.
nice.
It
Surface
was like
board.
it was something like that. Well, it was like it was like a table essentially, but it was such a great idea.
Yeah.
And then we didn't hear anything else.
Yep. They're like, yeah, we're done with that.
And then Connect was a
Mm-hmm.
mess.
And they finally got around to making the Surface Phone or the
Oh
Microsoft
wow,
Duo.
yeah, that was great. But
I,
then,
s- I still want that phone.
but yeah, I was actually invested in that phone, and then I saw it. I'm like, it's good for someone who's like a graphic designer or like an artist, but someone who wants to use it as like their main phone, it's not gonna work out.
Yeah.
Doesn't even have a camera on it.
And they put no marketing behind
Yeah, nothing at
promoting
all.
it.
And then I was expecting it to be like their own version of PS the PS Vita, like where you could use it
Mhm.
as an Xbox console, and like nothing at all.
Yep.
Like wow. All right, I guess we'll move on to the last news story, the
Okay.
Pokemon announcements.
What's funny about that is a lot of people are upset. They're like, no national decks.
Oh yeah, the vocal minority, and then it
Yeah.
was the best-selling game on the Nintendo Switch. uh,
Oh my god.
like
I
wow.
don't understand that. And they get so butthurt.
And then everything that they announced will sell out.
Mm-hmm. And guarantee I you know what's funny is like I was shocked that there's so many people that wanted the new Pokemon Snap because I thought that was super niche
Yeah,
when the original came out. I loved it back then, but they're like, yeah, new Pokemon Snap, okay. Guaranteed seller.
yeah.
The was it the Brilliant Diamond,
Diamond
Brilliant
and Shining
Sapphire,
Pearl.
and Shiny
Like
Pearl, yeah. Guaranteed that's
that
selling
people
out.
wanted that from a long time.
Yep. Guaranteed that's gonna sell out.
And what I like about what they did with the remake, they didn't like they didn't exactly remake it
Mm-hmm.
exactly because with Pokemon what was the newest one, Sword and Shield,
Sword and Shield,
where
yeah.
it's like an open world. This they kept to the game mechanics of the original games,
Yep.
which is nice. And then Arceus, the MMO.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wasn't expecting this at all. And then I
No.
know that there was like these spin-offs or even like these cheap knockoffs of an open world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've seen them like on the Play Store or the Android Play Store.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them. I'm like, okay, this would be great if they actually did this, and they're actually doing it.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I mean, they're printing money.
Yeah,
Like, it's insane. Yeah.
but I feel like it's gonna be like a DLC. That's what they said.
Mm,
Pokemon Legends, and then Colin Arceus.
yeah.
Yeah, like that
I can.
will work.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. That especially the Arceus, like that one.
For sure, I'm excited for this.
And I feel like that's gonna be like the template going forward for any new titles.
Yeah,
So yeah,
for sure.
but no national dex though.
Well, technically, there is no Dex in this game. You have to create it.
uh,
Like, wow. All right, I guess we'll move on to these little, much smaller news stories. HP
okay.
acquiring HyperX, which is something I did not expect at all.
Yeah, that which is interesting because like my wife has partnered with HyperX,
Oh, nice.
and so like we I remember she got the email about that before they made the public announcement. I was like, HP? Really?
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
even like they don't have any any like gaming.
I mean, like aside from like the HP Omen stuff, which they don't even push that.
Yeah, they
So
don't.
I'm
They
like,
expected it to sell on its own.
yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, all right. That's interesting. Um, I thought HyperX is doing fine on their
Yeah, it was
own.
doing great. Like I
Yeah.
have the headset, the mic, and I also have the glasses as well. Like I saw them. What was that event last year? Dream. I saw them at DreamHack last year, and I tested out
Hmm.
the glasses, and I bought it then and there.
Are those the revolver or the cloud
Yeah, the cloud
cloud
ones.
twos? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, theirs is phenomenal. Like their equipment is just from their microphones to their headsets to
like yeah,
like keyboards and everything like that.
yeah.
It's
Everything
just
is great.
yeah. But
Even
why
like Steel
HP?
Series is doing good on their own, and then when these get acquired, I'm like, huh?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Like wow. And the funny thing is, HyperX wasn't on their own. They were owned by Kingston. Kingston is a
Mm-hmm.
huge company.
Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering. So with HP buying HyperX, so they Kingston just sold it over to them.
Uh, Hold on, let me see. Under the terms, HP will pay 425 million for the brand, including each HyperX's various line of headsets, keyboards, mouse, microphones, and so on. The agreement leaves out some aspects of HyperX's business, specifically its DRAM solid state drives and other memory and storage products marketing to gaming audiences.
Hmm.
Let me look at that's all I'm seeing, but let me look into the specifics. Oh, here's the press release from HP. I'll send it to you. Uh, okay, let's see. It's a leader. Under the terms, subject to customary working capital and other acquirements to acquire a HyperX's gaming peripherals portfolio. Acquisition is expected to be accurate. Okay, I gotta increase this thing. Accretive on a non-GAAP basis to HP in the first full year following closing. And that's about it. $425 million.
Interesting. It's still a weird acquisition.
Yeah, it is.
I don't see
I mean,
why
they're saying they're investing in their own brand, but at the same time, they haven't done anything with it.
No, like nothing at all.
Wow.
I mean, even the Omen Twitter account is not that active, and they've only released one monitor, maybe an update of their laptop.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, they're not doing anything with that. I hope this doesn't put HyperX in that.
Yeah, of course, definitely, because their products are great. I just hope they kind of leave them as is, but kind of invest in them more.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's. I don't understand that. Fingers crossed, because I really enjoyed the few HyperX products I have. I really enjoy them. Like if it was a situation similar to like how Turtle Beach, bought out Rocket and bought out Mike's, I would understand. But why? I don't even understand why Kingston would even let that happen.
Yeah, exactly. They're a huge company, so why? And then they're not even leaving the gaming space themselves. So if you're gonna sell it, might as well sell everything else.
That's a strange one.
It is.
Like,
okay. I saw. I'm like, you know what? I'm putting this in here. Wow. I guess we'll end it with this. What do you think of Zack Snyder's Justice League?
Wait, did it release yet?
No, not yet. They're saying it's ending with a cameo from a surprise hero.
Okay, so surprise hero is probably going to be The Rock as Black Adam.
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
I've been waiting for that too.
Right? Okay, I'll admit, Justice League was a guilty pleasure of mine. Like I kind of enjoyed it. Like it was not on the quality level. Yeah, Marvel, it was okay. Yeah. Like it wasn't on a Marvel. And I think the problem is, and I've always said this, like when it comes to DC and Marvel, like DC has for technically decades at this point had the leg up on Marvel.
They just literally just started.
Yeah, like it made no sense why, like, okay, so if we go back to the Batman Begins to Batman to the Dark Knight.
Those were great.
Yeah, so with that trilogy that they did, I was under the impression when, Man of Steel dropped that they were going to have that crossover and just start building towards Justice League, because why not when you've got these movies doing so well? And then they decide not to do it. And it felt like when Justice League came out, they were just rushing to catch up with the Avenger hype. And at this point now, I will say I have superhero fatigue, like superhero movie fatigue. Like it's like, okay, after a decade, I'm kind of over it. That's why like a lot of people are all about, WandaVision. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really
I'm
interested in WandaVision. It's not my cup of tea.
yeah, I'm like I'm over it. But like as far as the Snyder cut, he keeps saying it's gonna be better, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. I actually think it's gonna be good. Like I'm looking forward to seeing
Hopefully,
it.
yeah.
And if it does lead into something more, I'm excited for that. But I think what I'm also confused with when it comes to a lot of these DC movies is a lot of them seem to be one-offs or in their
Oh
own
yeah,
continuity. So like I don't understand what like the was it Wonder Woman
in
84
1984. Yeah,
doesn't technically tie into Justice League,
yeah. This
which
is the
is or
yeah.
Batman v Superman, which is weird because the way they set up Batman v Superman, they're like, yeah, she's been not doing anything for all these years, but then Wonder Woman 84 kind of retcons that. So I'm
Mhm.
like, there's no consistency
Yeah,
with DC like
yeah.
there is with Marvel. So I don't know.
We'll see. Hopefully, March 18th comes around, and it'll be good.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. I guess we're gonna end it here. So, you guys, if you want to send us free email, here's how. We want to know your feedback, your thoughts, and even any questions they may have for us by sending us free email over on Discord. By leaving a voice note over at anchor.fm/the Impact Play, or even by sending us an email to reademail@impactplay.com. Who knows, we may even be featured on a future episode, or even our special read email segment of the show. So, even though Black History Month is coming to a close, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't stop supporting and amplifying Black voices. We also have big plans, and we will be bringing on an even more diverse round of guests for the show. So stay tuned, everybody. And for those who aren't aware, where can they find you? Where can they be up to date on your podcast as well? And let everyone know where they can find you.
All right. So you guys can find me. I'm on all social media platforms. So Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok. Just look up Mikhail Casanova on all those platforms. Primarily for like the Casanova podcast. It's on every major podcasting platform. Just look up the Casanova podcast. It's we just got added to Amazon Music.
Oh, nice.
uh, Amazon reached out to a request that we put the show on there, so we got it over there. And yeah, as far as like the video format for the show, it's on youtube.com/Mikhail Casanova. Although we also occasionally do showcase it on twitch.tv/Mikhail Casanova. I've just been so tied up lately between
No
various
worries.
podcasts and reviews, and then expecting within 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, my wife and I were expecting our first child.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's
Congrats.
been crazy. Like
Yeah,
if
for
I've been
sure.
delayed in getting back to anyone, it is not because I'm ignoring anyone. It's just
Yeah,
because
you just have a lot on your plate.
yeah.
Yeah, no
But
worries.
yeah, across the board, just or you can go to mikhailcasanova.com where you can be up to date on everything that we're doing. Yeah.
All right, thank you. I wish you all the best.
Yeah.
And thank you for stopping by. And we'll definitely include all that in the show notes in the description below. And guys, leave us a review or even just a rating on your favorite platform. Have a great one. Until next time.
All right.
All right,
Peace.
thanks for stopping by. Stop.